Hello. Today I'm going to talk about freedom. There's a lot of philosophy that I read. It covers a lot of what it means to be free and freedom. And really, when it comes to freedom, it all depends on a number of factors. There are a number of variables in what it means to be free. For instance, Marcus Aurelius said that life is perception, and that is true because it all depends on your perspective, and your perspective depends on your nature. Because I think in philosophy, a mistake a lot of people make is they use we a lot. They say we are humans, we are freedom for us, but us is all inclusive. But really, there's certain distinctions have to be made because life is nature itself is full of dualisms and full of binaries and paradoxes. So, for instance, we're all animals. But then it breaks down into higher and lower animals. But just because we're human doesn't make us a higher animal. But a lot of humans like to say, just rationalise the fact that we're above the lower animals. To say, they're lower animals because they can't. But who's making the rules? They're not making the rules. Really, the distinction is if we use the distinction of the ability to decide for ourselves, to use reason, to be free, to decide our own fate, not act on instinct. Lower animals act on instinct, but a lot of humans act on instinct, which makes them a lower animal. Lower animals act on instinct. That's the difference between the higher and lower animals. Lower animals act on instinct, on impulse. So, for instance, lust, instant gratification. Like a dog, I see, I want. They don't contemplate the delayed consequences of their actions. They don't use past experiences to think about past experiences and to think about, to have a precedent for the consequences of their actions. They just act on instinct. But yet previous experience will cause fear in the subconscious, which determines their instinct, if you like. You know what I mean? So even though they might subconsciously use past experience, the brain will use past experience. It's still not a conscious choice, if you know what I'm saying. They develop anxiety and fears based on precedents like that, but that's logged automatically by the brain, But it's still subconscious thought. They don't make enough of the unconscious conscious to be a higher animal, and so they're definitely not free. If you know what I mean, they're lower animals, and then we say lower animals. You have two kinds of lower animals. But really then the next distinction goes across the board again. You have the domesticated animal and you have the feral animals, the ones that are happy to be domesticated. And in that category, in the domesticated and the feral, as far as the universe is concerned, that applies to both lower and higher animals again, because if you're a higher animal and you use reason, in other words, to go after what you want, it still doesn't make you a feral animal because you're like a carrot and a donkey. Once it waves materialistic things in front of you, like money, like power, like wealth. If you're led by this, and you're led by this, it's the very same as steering around a donkey. You know what I mean? I'll go for the money. I want money. And you're easily led by the universe because all the universe has to do is direct you using money. You know what I mean? If that becomes your guiding light, you're an easily domesticated animal because you're absolutely definitely not free, if you know what I'm saying. You're not free in the context of being free from the universe. Freedom is, for me, what freedom is freedom as what's his name? Bertrand Russell, is that his name? Said freedom is the yeah, the freedom of indifference and freedom of spontaneity, the freedom to do something different and the freedom to do what you like. So if we use that definition of freedom, if you're chasing money, you're definitely not free as far as you're a slave to the universe, because you're a slave to money and the universe controls all the money. So real freedom is what freedom is the right to choose every time. That's what freedom is. It's the right to choose every time, to contemplate your thoughts and to choose every time, but not be led by money. But it's a perpetual battle. Life becomes a perpetual battle for freedom. It's like the ancient Greeks would have had a perpetual battle for freedom. And that's very, very, very difficult, because in order to be free, then we're using this definition of freedom. In order to use this, there's no freedom without awareness, and then life becomes like chess. That's what Marcus Aurelius said. Life is like chess. But when life is like chess, it's sort of like you're completely surrounded, like so it's a perpetual war, but in that war you're completely surrounded, because you're surrounded by all these lower animals who the universe uses at will, like pawns in a game, but they're all being used against you. And then there's all the different external events that are outside your control, but so the whole universe conspires against you, if you like to view it that way. The whole universe conspires against you to put you in checkmate, to put you in positions that you don't want to be in. So really what you want to do is you want to move it to be in a position that you want to be in, that you choose to be in. So you want to be striving towards your goal. So freedom is making moves to strive towards your goal. But each time the universe moves and you move. I move, universe moves, I move. Do you know what I mean? And the universe, as I say, is binaries. They're all opposing forces working against each other and with each other to bring about change. But freedom is you. You controlling whatever is within your control. And what is within your control is yourself. So constantly controlling yourself. What's in my control, what's in my control. So even though you're completely surrounded, you take the first thing you do if you want to be free is the freedom to control yourself. And freedom is really taking control of yourself. So no matter how the universe moves and conspires around you, all these lower animals, and conspires to move against you, to put you into positions of checkmate, so constantly games of chess, you conspire to be, as they say, as all anyone who understands say, freedom is the right to choose. Freedom is what you choose to do with it. So like even if the universe chooses to give you no money, like you could take the perspective that I'm in shackles, you know what I mean? I'm in shackles, you know, because I don't want to be here, I want to be somewhere else. But that's not in your control, because you might not have money to be somewhere else. Like I have a ticket to Greece, so I'm getting out of here. I took that opportunity, you know, to escape out of here. But it's basically choosing from the choices that you're given, if you know what I mean. But you choose every time. It's like, for instance, like you say, I'm in shackles, but yeah, I'm not Boetius, you know, or I'm not Viktor Frankl. They were incarcerated, and I'm not incarcerated. But even when they were incarcerated, they still had the freedom to choose. Like Boetius, when he was incarcerated, wrote one of the greatest works that was ever presented to man. You know what I mean? That everybody still uses the works of Boetius. And then you have Viktor Frankl. What he chooses to do with this is to use this experience to write a book to make the best of as Marcus Aurelius said, pretend you're dead and now take the rest of your life and live it properly. So he took the rest of his life and used to write a book which gave him money and gave him different freedoms, you know, to compensate, I suppose, for the freedom that he's incarceration, if you know what I mean. But then when it comes to being incarcerated, you still have other choices. Like, for instance, Cato said that self-preservation is the primary basic instinct. So, but the clue is in the word instinct. So self-preservation is a primary basic instinct, but still you have the right to choose. For instance, Socrates could have legged it with his friends. He was given the right, come with us, Socrates, or else be incarcerated. But he said, no, give me the poison. I'm out of here, I'm going to flip the board. So life is like chess. But he said, no, fuck this, I don't want to play any more chess. I'm flipping the board, I'm out of here. And he drank the poison. And Cato said, give me my sword. Because even he was going to be, the universe conspired against him. We put them into a position he didn't want to be in. So he's going to be in checkmate. He said, no, I'm going to flip the board as well, fuck you. And he said, give me my sword. And he fell on his own sword. Samurai warriors are the same. They choose, they say, no, I'm not going to be taken alive. The universe is not going to incarcerate me. I choose to follow my sword. I choose. So even though self-preservation is a primary basic instinct, you still have the right to choose. Do you know what I mean? If you choose to take your own life, that's a choice. And it's not acting on instinct, that's freedom. Do you know what I mean? So it's constantly choice. I choose. And then, see, if you're a domesticated animal, for instance, it breaks down into different categories as well. For instance, all the plebs, bred in games. So if you have a domesticated animal, and as the Roman says, the Catholic Church said, well, they have to be farmed and slaughtered because they all act in instinct instead. And it's, as when they act in instinct, their thirst for material things, as I say, they can overpower you, you know what I mean? It's the same as the individual shouldn't give in to the herd, should break free from the herd. If the government are in a position of power, they don't want to be overcome by the herd either. They have to be careful not to be overcome by the herd. So that means they have to slaughter some of them sometimes, if you know what I mean. Or they have to curtail their freedoms and give them bread and games to entertain them. So they have different ways of managing the herd, but they have to farm the herd. So give them bread and games to distract them from things, and while you shepherd them, if you know what I mean. So you might necessarily not have to kill them, but you have to give them bread and games and give them material things, but you can't let them overpower you. Like here in Ireland, the tail is starting to wag the dog. The lower animals are starting to dictate to the herd. Because, as Socrates said, in democracy, that's what happens in democracy. The herd can overcome the government. So it's like the herd overcome the individual. In democracy, you really want to be taking a vote from the lower animals, because if too many people have to vote, they overcome the herd, because the herd plays the perspectives of the lower animals, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but then, as I say, if you're a higher animal and you're being led by power, greed is when if you're being led by your emotions. If you're being led by your emotions, you're not free. The only way to be free is to be fully in control of your emotions, to master your own emotions, because your emotions is what the universe uses to dictate change, to determine change. So if you're being motivated by greed, you're absolutely not free. No matter how much power you are, you're not free. The only way to be free is to master of your emotions, because that's the only way you choose. So like as I said, the universe uses our emotions to determine our freedom. If it's using greed, and you're a dominant force, a powerful force, the universe is just using that force to dictate terms, to dictate. Fear is another one that the universe uses fear. Like, look at all the lower animals running for their miserable lives, their existence being determined by fear. It's an interesting sight. Just sit here and drink my coffee and look out at it. They all ploughed into the shops, buying loads of food. But they in turn, like as I said, the universe has a hierarchy. So you have the Zionists there, the Rothschilds, and then the power is delegated further down. But so the stock market is the stock market is being determined by the Zionists, so they take everybody's money. But then the hierarchy down along is being determined by greed. So all the lower animals are being driven in to spend all the money. But these men then in turn put back into the stock market, if you know what I mean. So it keeps the stock market going, but the higher animals are just increasing the divide, because when the higher animals, who are farmers, the lower animals, when the farmers get greedy, the lower animals suffer, and shit flows downhill. So the lower animals on the ground are definitely eventually suffer the most. But the whole thing, as I say, is a cycle, all being determined by the universe. I suppose for the lower animals it keeps life interesting. The next thing we'll have is war. Because that's the greatest catalyst to change. So basically, to sum up this video, what I'm saying is that you have higher and lower animals. You have to categorize. You can't say we. You have to stop with the we business. When you look at humans, we have higher and lower animals, and then we have another categorization again of the domesticated and the feral. But really, the only man who's free is the man who's completely in control of his emotions, and even he is not free. He's just fighting for his freedom. But even when you're dead, you're not free. You're just back into it. You just reset with the button, but you're back into more chess. Or at least you say enough chess for the day. Enough chess for the day. And even that is not being told. You're going to play another game of chess, whether you like it or not. You say, no, I'm not. Right, that's enough for today. I'll talk to you again.